Have you noticed that sound guys, when they're testing before a show, they always test the microphones by going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. How come they never go to 3?
I don't know.
Because if they know that if it gets to 3, they're going to have to lift something.
Hello and welcome, and thanks for having us, Ian Pace, Roger Glover from Deep Purple fame. Thinking about the questions for this interview, there's only one word that occurs or reoccurs all the time. It's last, finite, finite, last. It's not, is it? Can you pronounce the title of your new record for us, please?
Infinite.
Infinite.
Aha! I was like, what's it called now? What's it called?
Finite.
I would say infinite, but you can say whatever you want, as long as you understand what it is. The last.
We don't know that it's the last.
But there's going to be a day in the not so far future when it is going to be the last.
Yeah.
And that's an emotional strain that I don't think any one of us are brave enough to say this is the date. Mm. But we are thinking, and not thinking, we are realizing that time is creeping up. Every day that goes on, those numbers mount up, and it's inevitable, I know we sort of feel differently about this, but I think this will be the last big major world tour. Mm. It's not that it's physically demanding, we tour very easily, but it could take 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And in 2 or 3 years, who knows what state of the world is going? Who knows what state we're going to be in? So I think we just have to accept the reality that decision will have to be made sometime in the future. And if we can play everywhere that wants to see us and make sure that we've covered as many territories as we can, that could take 2.5, 3 years, So it could be the long goodbye.
I mean, how could you guys, being the rhythm section of one of the best and most famous hard rock bands on the planet, you guys cannot live without each other, can you? It's like inseparable.
Well, you can, yeah. But it's, it's because it's been such a major part of our lives, it's incredibly valuable to us emotionally. Mm. And it's a scary thought to think that maybe sometime in the near future won't be doing it again. Mm. But at the end of the day, we are musicians. He is a songwriter, and even if Purple decides that's the time, am I going to stop playing drums? No. Is he going to stop writing songs? No. But George Harrison made a wonderful album called "All Things Must Pass," and the word is "must." You don't want them to, but that's the reality of the world we live in.
As I was saying earlier, do you know how old I am?
I don't know. I forgot.
Personally, I think this is the start of the goodbye.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's going to happen. I personally think we could do another album.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think so too.
Too taxing. Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, we usually take 2 or 3 years between albums, if not more at times. So if I'm 71 now, I'll be 75 doing an album again, maybe 74. I don't know. That's the point, is we don't know. So Infinite and the Long Goodbye Tour are there for you to interpret whichever way you will.
The music.
But we're not saying definitively, no, we're going to end now.
Yeah. But the music is infinite. The music is immortal. It's there. It's a document in the same way you can go to a museum and see something that was done 300 years ago. It's there forever. That's infinite. Yeah. So there are many levels you can think about the word debate what it means. But unfortunately, human beings are not infinite. So,
but you guys, reading between the lines, I almost have the feeling that you guys are scared of age.
No, we're scared of the end of Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's different.
It's a family.
Yeah.
It's not just a family. It's a destiny. We've shared this part of our lives for a long time, and I can't imagine what life would be like without Deep Purple.
Yeah.
It gives us not only a living, but it gives us two lives. It gives us a life on the road, and a life at home with family and so on.
And both are necessary. If you've grown up with this,
Yeah.
to lose maybe half of your conscious being, because being at home is great. It's lovely. We all know, but we also know there's something else we do in our lives. And when we do the other side of being on the road, when we've had enough of that, we know we can go home again. There's two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And if one side is taken away, it's a bit daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get to travel a lot. We're very lucky that we have an audience that's worldwide. There's not many countries that we haven't been to. And that's our good fortune. And in a way, you almost get blasé about, where were you last night? Oh, I was in Paris last night, but we're going to have dinner in Tokyo tonight. You don't even think about it because it's just part of our lives. That will disappear. And I will miss that, because one of the great boons of being in a famous rock band is we get to see the world many times over. And again, that's a rare privilege. Not many people get to do that.
Now once you announce that this could be, the final big tour and everything will, come to a place or fall into place, were there any former members of Deep Purple that came like, hello, I was in there too once. Can I, come back?
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
All right.
Or it hasn't worked like that so far. This incarnation of Purple have been together for the longest time.
Yeah.
This is it. It has been this way for over years, since Don joined the band. Whatever was in the past was glorious. Sometimes very hard to deal with, but it is in the past, We can't undo the things that have been done. We can't unsay the things that have been said. And we have to shut the door on that. It's gone, People obviously still like what we do. We're having a ball. We're having a great deal of fun. Quite honestly, it'd be really nice if we didn't have to even contemplate that word last, because nobody wants to. And we're going to make this tour going as long as we can. But I would hate to do the cliched thing of saying, this is the last tour, and then a year later we come and do another tour.
Yeah.
That's as Roger said, that's very undignified. It's a little bit naughty.
It stinks of, we've run out of money, let's go back and make a bit more.
Yeah, I know. I won't tell the Scorpions, don't worry. It's all good.
Yeah. So that's, that's where it's at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
But we're, in our heads, we're still thinking 2-3 years down the road, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's not happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
Another thing that comes about in these conversations we've been having is that a lot of people talk about the past.
Yeah.
And they want to know bits and pieces about the past, but the reality is, in the band, we don't think about the past. It's there, like a shadow with us. But we're always thinking of now. What's now? What's important now? Not what was important then, because that's fixed.
Yeah.
But we live in the now, and we what's the next album? What's the next song? What's the next gig?
Yeah, but obviously, fans, they want to hear the songs that they probably grew up with and fell in love with. But then again, if this is the hint of the last tour, there's the word again.
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna have a special set list, something that nobody expected, everybody expected, sort of like a special gimmick for it?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
How long do you want to be on stage for every night? I don't believe any act, and I mean any act, should go beyond 2 hours. Yeah. I don't care what they think. I couldn't care less. I mean, if Springsteen wants to do a 4-hour set, that's his choice. By 4 hours, the audience are finished.
Yeah.
They want to go home. They want to go to the bar. It's too much. And especially if it's a hard rock and roll show, it's demanding for the musicians. It's also demanding for the audience.
Yeah.
And you can go to that point where everybody falls over the edge. The musicians get tired and the audience gets tired. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So you've got this golden period to try and get the classic songs that they want to hear, and you have to play.
Yeah.
You cannot not play them. You know?
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. They bought the ticket to hear those songs. Whatever else you give them is a bonus, but they came to hear those songs. So then you have to blend in hopefully three songs from a new record that you've got, so that they're aware of new music.
5,
and
6,
you try 5, whatever you want to call it.
8.
And you try and blend in a couple of maybe less obvious songs.
Yeah.
And that's your 2 hours gone. So, you know, with all the best will in the world, there's only so much you can do when you have this wonderful baggage with you. These songs that are the mainstay and the backbone of your live set. So, you know, we often talk about going on a tour and getting 4 or 5 songs and rotating them.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, but it never works, because you find one song works better than the other songs. And it fits better with the other songs around it. So you end up with a set that works. And if you've only got one hit, then you can be very adventurous with the other songs. But if you've got half a dozen songs which have to be played every night, you're sort of stuck, you know.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be, but you don't have that much freedom anymore, because you have to play those songs.
The debate rages on about the set list, because the hardcore fans want to hear their particular favourites.
Yeah.
We want to play some newer stuff as well, and you can't please everyone.
No.
That's the bottom line. So you end up, we please ourselves.
Well, you have to eventually. You have to, but you know, you get the truly devoted, obsessive fans. I mean, the guys and the chicks who will come and see. If we do 8 shows in Germany, they'll come and see 8 shows.
Yeah.
And they lose the point sometimes, and they get a bit after 4 shows. Well, they paid the same as they played last night, the same songs. I'm sorry, we're not playing it for them. There's 9,000 other people who are only going to see one show.
Yeah.
And you can't start worrying about what somebody else thinks or says. So this is what you get tonight, and it'll be good. But it's a tough choice, isn't it?
In any case, the songs, they may be the same songs, but there's always differences.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of spontaneity and fun, and jamming goes on, and unexpected things that we don't know what anyone else is going to do. And that's what keeps it alive and fresh for us, even though, I mean, the number one question we get asked is, aren't you tired of playing Smoke on the Water? Well, no, we're not. It's a great song to play, has a fantastic reaction, and we have fun with it. So why stop, you know?
And we can change just the little nuances when we play, the little things that maybe don't go to the audience, but they keep us interested, they keep us on our toes, and we can surprise ourselves on stage sometimes with just the smallest change. And that refreshes the whole thing for you.
Yeah.
If you were to go on and try and play an exact copy of the recorded version of a song every night, like the music, say, in a stage play where it has to be identical, the timing has to be the same, you'd lose all sense of it being rock and roll. There is a freedom on stage when you've got good musicians to just bend reality a little bit every night. The start is there, the finish is there. What happens in the middle is up to you.
You guys probably have achieved everything. You are, you're one of a kind. But for the next ride, is there anything you're like, hold on, we haven't done this yet? Is there anything like that?
Well, we haven't worked with a gospel choir.
All right.
I don't think we ever will, by the way. But you never know. You never know. The thing is, having had success and achieved, as you say, a lot of goals, there's always more. You don't stop because you love what you do. There's always. I mean, I can't imagine not writing songs anymore. or playing them on stage. I can't imagine that. And that will continue with or without Deep Purple.
All right.
Anyway, it's a natural thing.
Because when you're a kid and you pick up your instrument, or you are drawn to an instrument and you find you have an affinity with it and you sort of understand how it works, you're doing it just to make yourself happy. There's no concept about anything other than me. I'm doing it because I'm happy doing this.
Yeah.
And that's what kids do. You find something you enjoy, you like, and you do it. If you stick at it and you find you can do it pretty well, then it maybe becomes a little more important in your life. Mm-hmm. And then if you get the next stage where it becomes your life, it becomes not just more important, it becomes sort of serious. But you can never lose that element of that teenage kid finding something he wants to do. And when we go on stage, we become those teenage kids again. Mm. Okay, with a lot more talent than we had when we were teenagers, but the need to play and the love of playing is still the same.
All right.
And if I'm still here when I'm 90 years old and I can still physically hold a drumstick, I would still play, because that's my childhood. That's my love from when I was a kid. You know, that doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's your life.
Yeah.
And when you started recording Infinite, how was the approach to this record?
Same as every other record we made. It's like a blank canvas. We have no idea. We don't sit down and have sort of committee meetings and say, right, what are we going to do for this next record?
You guys never have meetings, right?
No.
Well, we did actually get some input from outside the band saying, why don't you get a concept for the record? And we said, that's a really good idea. But that was the end of that, because we don't work like that. It's not like if you like The Who, they have one songwriter, Townsend. Mm-hmm. He can come up with a complete range of songs as a concept. One mind controlling it. We don't. We act as a cooperative. Every track we create, every piece of music we create, comes from all these different influences, different inputs, and so the music is varied because of it. Roger may start with a really heavy rock and roll bass riff, and I'll put a drum pattern which maybe swings a little bit against it. Mm. And then Steve will have this thing, and it might be just a country touch to it. So it's varied. And then somebody else will start another track, and then it's influenced a different way. Whereas it's not like a Pete Townsend giving you a whole set of things like a rock opera. Can't do that. So concepts don't work for us, really. It's a matter of getting as many good ideas into the shape that they can become songs and see where they go. We have no idea how it's going to start out, and we definitely don't have an idea how it's going to end. We end up with a record, and that's it. Yeah.
Do you have arguments in between?
No, not arguments. We have disagreements.
We have discussions. They don't involve hitting or kicking or scratching or anything like that. No. Well, occasionally they might. But the thing about writing as a 5-piece, as opposed to one single writer, is that you don't know where the song's going to go.
Yeah.
And there are times when it's disappointing. It turns out it's not what I expected it to be.
All the times you've created a piece of music which cannot be made into a song. Mm-hmm. It's just not a vehicle you can put vocals over. You can't tell a story to it. You just can't do it.
So if people are surprised by what the album is, it surprises us just the same.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for talking to us and taking the time.
Definitely a pleasure.
And we'll see you in Munich.
I do hope so. We look forward to that.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Rockantenne, der beste Rock nonstop.